All right, hang on a second. Damn it.
Come on, hang on.
Let's try this again.
Going outside, just like I like it.
Pretty big fish to fry. Pretty big fish to fry. My. Pretty big fish to fry. Pretty big fish to fry. My. Last weekend I very thought I'd make it out alive. Told myself I'd take time and give the world a try. I was alright.
Oh, it is Thursday, December the 28th, 2017. It is our swan song for 2017. You're checking out the Premier Sports and Beer podcast coming to you Jersey only tonight. It is Lowen Outside, lowenoutside.com. Thanks for taking time, everybody. Those of you on Facebook Live, you're catching us on Wednesday night. But those of you that are listening in your car or at your home, it is Thursday the 28th. So welcome, everybody. We do appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. And we're going to start off the way we always do.
Why don't you go back home to your strip malls and drink your Seamas and Smirnoff Ices? Oh, yeah! The greatest beer in all ever!
Somebody from the bar.
Yeah, I like cool beverage, yeah. I like cool beverage, yeah. I like cool beverage, yeah. Cause I'm feeling kind of parched. Stick it in the fridge, 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 stick it in the fridge.
All right, so tonight I am my buddy Paul, who grew up right around here down in Jersey Shore. He's back for the holiday and whatnot, and he's living in Colorado now. and right near Boulder. And so he brought me this beer. He brought me a beer. He works at a brewery called Wibby. A little plug to them. I'm not drinking one of their beers tonight, but I am drinking something. So he gives me a bottle of Wibby, and then he gives me another bottle, and he goes, and this is just some weird shit we got going on in Colorado. So I look at him and I go, are there drugs in it? And he goes, no. Why, did you want drugs? I'm like, no, I didn't want drugs. I just didn't know what weird shit in Colorado is. So
just gotta make sure.
Well, you have to. I mean, you want to keep things on the up and up. I am drinking a Cellar West Artisan Ale, God's Eye Wild Porter with blackberries tonight. It is a 7.1% alcohol by volume, bottle conditioned porter. So I have not yet tasted it, so I'll let you guys get to what you have. This could be really good, or it could be really bad. We'll see. So let's do the panel first. Brett and Denville, what do you got, bud? Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Hello, Merry Christmas. I'm not scared to say that anymore.
No. Good point.
Oh, God. That looked really good. Jeff, I saw when you were pouring it, obviously bad radio, but it had like a purplish hue to it. So I was going to ask if there was some sort of berry in it, but yes, there
Blackberry.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Looks amazing. I'm drinking a Bolero Snort Prime Bovine IPA.
Okay.
Just something I saw in Bottle King, picked up. Oddly enough, household's low on beer right now. So I had to go make a run yesterday to grab a 4-pack of something, and that's what I saw.
Did you guys host a holiday, or did you bring beer, or what was your deal?
What do you mean? Like, why am I low on beer?
Yeah, that's really the question.
Okay. I just pure laziness and haven't really gotten anything. So I got a couple things lined up for the next couple weeks. But anyway, this is terrific. Pretty good stuff. Nice, easy drinking Jersey IPA. So congrats.
What's you check in at?
I think 7.
Okay.
7, yes.
Nice. Nikki, Parsippany, big ups.
What's going on? Yeah, Brett, the beard makes you look like you haven't left the house in 2 months. So maybe that's why you haven't gotten any beer.
And again, bad radio, but this will be the last time you guys will see me like this because I'm shaving in like a day or 2.
I think I am too.
Yeah, so I was feeling a little dehydrated tonight, so I'm drinking a Coors Light.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice
little shot at Sean, who hasn't been here in a month.
Who?
Is he still suspended?
Who? I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so the review on the God's Eye Wild Porter.
Sounds like you won't be going to work tomorrow, but you don't have any work.
I don't have work tomorrow, no.
That's what you should have said when you were explaining your beer. AKA, I'm not going to work tomorrow.
So it says it's an artisan ale, right? It says it's fermented with in oak barrels with our wild yeast culture. Chocolate-covered berry notes lead to toasted pecans and oak with a delicately tart, vinous finish.
That sounds like a little too much for me.
I don't even know what a vinous finish is.
I don't either. I might not even pronounce that correctly. Here's the deal. To me, it kind of, and I've never had this taste before. You know how when you have a saison and it has like that weird funk kick to it at like the tail end of it? I've never had that with a porter. This does that in a porter. And I like that in a saison. I'm not entirely sure I like it in a porter. I'm going to let it kind of breathe a little bit and see. You can taste the blackberries in it. They're definitely there, but they're not overpowering. So it's not like when you get a blueberry beer, it's just like blueberry. Like it hits you right in the face with the blueberry beer.
Yes.
You don't get this with that. So it's just kind of, slow cooked, so to speak.
Slow baked, if you will, from Colorado.
Hey, whatever works. Not that podcast, but, we'll see what happens. Let's get going.
Who cares?
All right. A lot of topics tonight, and who cares? You got to lead off with the big news from the NFL.
Literally.
James Harrison leaves the Steelers the last week of the year and joins the Pats.
Apparently by his force.
Yeah, originally it was looking like they cut him, and like it was like, oh, he just had to find a place to play. And then like today, like a bunch of Steelers were like, nah, man, he wanted out. So what's up with that, Brett? He joins you guys.
They are not happy up there, huh? But I'm gonna spin zone it, and I'm gonna say Harrison's like a double agent for the Steelers.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Now going over to New England, getting familiarizing himself with terminology, plays, taking a look at things, and then radioing back to Pittsburgh. Right. All of that information. Like he's Belichicking Belichick. Ooh. So I don't know, man. I as a Pats fan, it's very weird. Like I don't really see these moves work out usually well for them. Like Albert Hainsworth or Chad Ochocinco or your boy Harris can't crack the lineup in New England.
I bet you he plays this week.
Yeah. So I don't, I don't know. Whatever, man. He's 39 years old. So.
I think it's more of a referendum on how bad your pass rush is.
Yeah, I mean, we basically will take anything, but I don't know. I guess they see a certain type of player in him right now, even at this age. That's something that can benefit them in their schemes. So they're going to take a flyer on him. It's $59,000.
Yeah, so I think it's $59,000 to bring in a guy that's been with the team that poses the biggest threat to you in the conference for like a decade. So
yeah,
you just do it. Like, yeah. I think every team in the NFL would have done it if they were in that position.
Right. I mean, he passed. He was out through waivers, right? So,
well,
if anybody wanted him,
they're not going to pay him whatever his contract was.
No, that would
sign him for like the veterans minimum for 4 weeks or whatever the hell it ends up being.
Yeah, that would have been dumb. But yeah, I think it just made sense. I don't know. I get it. I get everybody's like, well, whatever. Yeah, but was a little salty about it yesterday, but.
It's weird timing though, right? Like I'm trying to think of like what compares. Like you would never see this in the NBA. Like you would never see like the week before the playoffs,
no.
like Golden State cuts like some
journeyman.
Yeah, or not even that, but just some scrub that doesn't really play anymore. That's been on their team for a while, and he goes and he signs with like San Antonio. Like you just would never see that.
No, but somebody. Who's the washed-up running back? Oh, Jamal Charles.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. The other day was like, I want to be cut and I want to go play for somebody. Yeah. That's not how it works, dude. Like,
apparently it is. James Harrison proves it. It is.
Apparently it is. But like, I don't know. I just think it's funny.
So you don't have really any expectation for him. Like anything you get is gravy, right?
Yeah, no, I have zero expectation for him. I just, whatever. They need him. I don't know.
He might make a tackle or something.
Super Bowl MVP.
I would love like one big, huge playoff sack, like game-changing sack.
On Big Ben.
Just one, and that's it.
How about this? How about it's like the fourth quarter, like Steelers are driving, they're down like 5, right? So they need a touchdown. It's just Harrison and Ben, and he goes like reverse Brett Favre, Michael Strahan. He just like
falls down.
Sits down and smiles and waves at him and lets him throw a touchdown.
I've thought about those scenarios too in my head. Like he's sprinting down the sideline, he's the last man to beat on like a Steeler wide receiver touchdown, and he just doesn't tackle and runs with them and starts celebrating the end zone with them.
Blocks.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's gonna be weird. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Whatever.
Who cares?
That leads us to the what the future of football could be. The ultimate heel turn.
Oh yeah.
Vince McMahon, while we were on hiatus last week, sold over $100 million of WWE stock. Don't worry, he's still the majority shareholder, Nick. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
To apparently revive the XFL. He has a new company called Alpha Entertainment, which if you've ever
so domination. Like
if you've ever followed Vince McMahon, there's not a more apropos name
so Alpha
for the company. And apparently there was some copyright and patent and intellectual property that he let lapse, because he never actually, I guess, envisioned doing it again. But he filed for those copyright, motions, I guess, to get them back for a potential XFL revival. What do you think? What do you think, Nick?
Now's the time, I guess, right? NFL is at its lowest point in years. Ratings are declining. People are complaining about the quality. Penalties are galore. It's just the replay is pissing people off. I think this is the best move he can make. I mean, if you're gonna ever bring the XFL back, which is questionable at best, this is the time to do it, right?
100%. I think there's no better time.
So you like it?
Love it. Love it. I mean, this is brilliant. This is, this is LeVar Ball brilliant. This is Chris Jenner brilliant. This is
Chris Jenner brilliant.
This
What
is
beautiful timing.
This is amazing. This is what you do, man. I mean, there is a lapse in the market right now, right? None of us can deny it, right? NFL ratings are down. You have a large share of crazy people who are very upset about the national anthem, who have stopped watching whatever side of the national anthem they are on. They're angry and they're not watching, and there's a void there for football. And if you can brand, this is what the XFL was, right, Jeff? This was what they were back in the day. Like
well, I was a season ticket holder for the New York, New Jersey Hitmen.
You're alt league, you're no rules. We'll do things different. We won't make it like that. And that's what I think is needed right now. So there's a lot of space right now in that market.
But I think there's a catch-22 where, I think that the whole point was that there was no rules and there was like a lot of unnecessary violence in that league. And I don't think
there was also talent.
Right, but I don't think that'll fly with the whole concussion thing going on. I think what will fly is the problem with the NFL is, the people that aren't protesting, not watching because of the anthem crap or whatever, are getting annoyed because the rules just suck. Jeff, you're talking about no one knows what a fucking catch is. So I think if you get back to the simplicity of what backyard football is supposed to be, that will make people watch it.
I guess. I mean, look. I think the reason that the XFL failed the first time, and like I said, I was a season ticket holder.
Were you really, or are you just bullshitting us?
100%. I was a season ticket holder. Because you got.
Do they have the PSLs?
No. You got season tickets at the time. I guess what was it, 15 years ago? Is that what it was? It was 15 years.
Early
ago.
2000s, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It works really well for you, Jeff. It's like a double meaning. You were a season ticket holder. Like there was only one season.
One season.
So you were.
The seats were good. The seats were lower level seats. But here's the problem. It was so freaking cold.
It's the coldest. One of the coldest I've ever been outside.
When they were holding these games, that like.
What season was it?
First of all, they were so cheap, right? The seats were so cheap. We got, I think it was a 4-game season. Like it was an 8-game season. So it was 4 games were home. And it was like $25 or something like that for all 4 games. Like it was like, or $100, like whatever it was so cheap that because it was so cold on certain days, I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm just not going. I don't care that I spent, $8 or $10 or whatever the hell it was on the game. So I went to one half of one game.
Yeah.
As an XFL season ticket holder. They played their season started right after the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So they played in the dead of winter.
So it's just like February and March. Like
they played
so cold.
Just windy and snowy and icy.
Oh God, it was miserable.
But I was thinking if you're gonna bring back the XFL, Anthony Samfilovich, and he and I had the tickets together. He said the whole season was $125. So literally, if you had 4 games, you do the math. I mean, it was so
that's cheap.
So but I was thinking if you're gonna bring it back, the way to do it is to do a 16-game season, do the playoffs exactly like just copy the NFL's model for their season and for their playoff structure, and have it go, have it end right before the NFL starts. So you're competing with baseball. You're starting up basically right as the NBA and the NHL wrap up, and you're competing with baseball through the whole summer. Which, as we know, even if you're a baseball fan, like there are nights that are just boring. Like there's just not a whole lot going on. And I think if you were to have like some summer football, like it would work in every market, except for maybe like Miami. It'd be maybe a little too hot. But I would, if you're telling me that I could turn on, a Thursday night or a Monday night or even or just a Sunday and I could watch football in the middle of June, I'm in.
Yeah, why not?
Even if it's bad, I'm probably in. But I think the biggest thing is the play's got to be better.
It's hard to get good quality players to want to play in those type of leagues, though. Because hypothetically speaking, every great NFL player, every great football player is in the NFL. So you're going to get B and C and D squad players. So you're going to see sloppier plays. But at the end of the day, maybe people just want to watch regular football. They don't want to watch the bullshit. If I'm going to watch Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, it's great. But all these stupid rules, it's like, who cares? Who wants to watch it?
Would you watch if
Oh, absolutely. I would get season tickets.
Let's put it this way: if the product was comparable to Division I college football, but not like the 4 teams that are going to
not the hype and stuff. Yeah.
No, not the 4 teams that are going to play for the national championship. So if
right, like regular D1 football,
regular D1 football, would that be something that you could get into?
I would absolutely get season tickets. Yep.
All right, Brett.
I don't know. I got to watch the play. I got to see them play.
But it's all.
I just love football. That's why I just love football.
But it's all on the play, right?
Yeah, it's dependent on the play. Obviously, I'll watch. I mean, the amount of sports I consume is unhealthy. Yeah. So, I'll watch something that if you put it on, it's just got to be good. So, if the level of play is somewhat solid, and like you said, Jeff, not outside in the middle of February.
It was so cold.
Anthony, I think you'd be
checking in, Nick. He says that the XFL is greater than watching Rutgers football. So,
hoorah!
Keep chopping. Nothing. He's got nothing. The other thing I was thinking of, and I don't know if I said this to either of you, but I did say it to Anthony, who's been checking in. McMahon's got some Carolina roots. Maybe he sold that stuff.
Oh God!
To make a run at the Carolina Panthers.
Not a bad, train of thought there. Now he keeps the Panthers. He has a hand in the NFL and a hand in his league.
Well, I'm saying maybe there isn't a league. Maybe he's not really starting a league. Maybe he's just buying the Panthers.
He just wants a whole bunch of
another hobby.
He just wants the Panthers to be owned by Alpha Entertainment.
Right. Although I think you had the best take, right? The ultimate heel move that we tweeted out.
Yes, where he just completely reverses it, steals the Panthers from the NFL, brings them to the XFL, and starts with Cam Newton as the poster boy for the XFL.
Right.
Cam would go. Cam would heel turn in a second because
Cam would follow the money.
He follow the money, and he doesn't get calls in the NFL. They bash his head in every week. They never throw flags on Cam. Let him go to the XFL. He'd be like, Cam, we'll take care of you over here. He'll be fine. Wear stupid hats all day.
Have Jim Ross calling the game. Good God Almighty, that's Cam Newton.
I would watch the XFL if there was just a plethora of journeyman quarterbacks. Like bring like Jeff Garcia out of retirement or Kurt Warner and just throw them out there. That'd be great.
It would. The best part about it would be like whoever was the the GOAT for the team when they lost, if Vince McMahon would make them come out to start the game, the next just publicly kiss his ass. You'd be like, "Hey, hate me? You're gonna kiss my ass." right on live television. It'd be awesome. It'd be the Monday night. Well, I guess he probably wouldn't put his games on Monday, right?
No. Probably let's do Friday night. Friday night games.
He wouldn't want to compete with Raw, so he wouldn't do Monday. He wouldn't do Tuesday because he has property. So he would definitely do Thursdays.
SmackDown.
Let's do Thursday, Friday. Then you do Thursday, Friday.
Tuesday now. SmackDown's Tuesday now.
SmackDown's on Tuesdays.
Yeah. So Thursday, Friday. So you think Thursday, Friday?
I think Thursday, Friday is a good season. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because the reason that the NFL, because people have talked about why doesn't the NFL play Friday night games instead of Thursday? It gives them an extra day, but they don't want to do it to conflict with high school football or some crap. There's nothing like you said, Jet. There's nothing going on in May, June, July. Just throw them out there on Friday night. You go to Bar A, you watch an XFL, it's great.
Yuck.
Who cares?
All right, good man. Whew.
That was a long one.
Landon Collins. He called Eli Apple a cancer on a radio interview, and then he backed off.
This is what happens when teams lose. That's the basic line. If you lose, everyone starts going at each other's throats. If you win, this stuff can still happen, but no one says anything. No big deal. Whatever.
I just don't like the backing off. Right? Like if you believe that the guy's a piece of trailer park trash, just call it like it is and then let it hang. I mean, the Giants, suspended him for the last week of the year. So clearly he's not going to play another game as a Giant. So just own it. Like why back down off it? I don't get that. Does that make sense to either of you?
No, not to me. I agree with you. Like just put your name, whatever. You can, if you want to apologize to him like man to man or something. You could do that, but I don't understand why you would want to. You'd be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I just ripped your ass in the."
It's all over the internet.
Yeah.
What's the big rub on Eli Apple? I mean, he stinks, but why is he?
He's apparently very like aloof, like with the teammates in the locker room. Like he just doesn't care. He's like apathetic to everything. I think Landon Collins had originally said like he's dealing with some personal issues, like trying to defend him at first, and Eli was like, "I never said that to him. I never said that to him.
I never said that."
Yeah, he is dealing with some personal stuff. There's like, I don't know. There's some giant beat writers that like every week or two write like apology pieces for Eli Apple. Like, oh, he's just going through a hard time, and I expect a big turnaround next year for him. And you're like, yeah, dude, he's enthusiastic to be a good teammate as he is to make a tackle. So, that's the type of player he is. And I don't think anybody wants that on their team.
But shouldn't that be a lesson for these teams? Like you get hype on these first round prospects and no one looks at their personalities, right? They look at, their film's great. They were great athletes, but this stuff matters, obviously, when you see shit like this.
They look at it if they've posted a picture of them wearing a Bond mask on Instagram. That's apparently a very big deal.
No, but like, you know what I mean? Like you can tell, you have to do some investigating into these kids. Like, are they dedicated? Do they watch film? Do they know what their assignments are? Or do they just go out there and rely on their pure athletic ability? Because once they get to the NFL, that shit won't fly.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
Unless you're like Randy Moss.
Well, and even Randy, he had his moments where like his antics were overshadowing his talent on the field, right? When he was mooning the
can we all be serious? It was that big of a deal. Like, come on. He didn't even moon anybody. He fake mooned people, and Joe Buck acted like he murdered someone on live television. Like he was like, "That's just disgusting. Oh my goodness, reprehensible." And you're like, dude,
you're fired.
Joe Buck McMahon, apparently.
Yeah,
the worst Joe Buck impression I've ever heard.
I always find it funny.
Fired.
Sounds like my Chris Russo impression.
Roger
Rabbit.
There we go, him. Say something funny, Mike.
I always feel like we go back to that, and I always am like, that is not that bad when we talk about. Like, I see way worse every Sunday.
It'll be a standard celebration in the new XFL.
Yes.
Eli Apple. Yuck.
Who cares?
So from one cornerback that can't tackle to a Hall of Fame cornerback that never could tackle. Apparently, Deion Sanders is in negotiations to join the Florida State football staff next year as they retool. What I'm hearing, and I don't know, have either of you heard this story?
No.
Okay. Have you heard it, Brett, or no?
No, I have not.
So apparently the rumors are that he's going to join the staff as a cornerbacks coach. Now, if you're Deion, like, I get that was his position, but like, why would you walk away from your broadcasting career, which has got to be lucrative and pretty easy,
low stress,
to go be a cornerbacks coach? Like,
if anything, why not like a D coordinator at least?
I'm the freaking Hall of Famer. You want to make me a D coordinator? I'll walk away from the booth. It just seems like it's a weird fit to me.
I think so, but I also think when you think about it in the realm of college athletics in general and Florida State, obviously, they're a scummy place. So they'll probably just be like, all right, we'll sign you to a contract of like $200,000, but you'll receive like $30 million in Adidas money. So just come be a cornerbacks coach.
Rick Pitino.
Yeah, Rick Pitino, he'll get you some strippers.
and it's going to be fine. And he probably was like, all right, why not? I get to be around FSU for a little while now, and I don't know.
It just seems weird. I don't know. Like, I mean, I know that he was talking a while ago. I think I brought this up like weeks ago. He was talking about like wanting to be a head coach. Who did he get into a verbal spat with? It was somebody that was talking about how he doesn't tackle. Remember we talked about it on this show?
Tony Romo?
Yeah. It was Tony Romo. So he got into like a verbal spat with that. At that time, I was like, this guy wants to coach. And
yes. We were all like, what?
And you're like, what? And now like he's being talked about as a potential cornerbacks coach. Like this guy's going to go work in college. Can you imagine if you're a collegiate defensive back and Deion Sanders is telling you what to do? Like, number one, like awe, right? I mean, like, even though none of those college kids ever saw Deion play, but they all know who Deion is.
Right.
But like they also got to be looking at him when he's like, don't go out and party. Like, really, Deion?
Yeah, okay. I don't think that's the message Deion is going to bring.
And then he'll like under his breath, like, I'll show you where the hot spot is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, he's there to coach football, not impart life lessons.
Maybe a little bit of that.
That's only 300 miles down the road.
Thinking about you. How about me going to a meeting and doing this before I go?
You think that when they line up for tackling drills, Deion will look at his DBs and be like, all right, listen, so when you're lining up for Oklahoma drills, I want you to just look at the guy in front of you and be like, listen, if I don't hit you that hard,
don't hit me.
You won't hit me that hard, right?
And then it just turns into like a hugging drill, or they're just like running up into each other and like banging stomachs on each other.
Who cares?
Eddie DeBar. Greg Popovich. I love Greg Popovich, by the way. He was.
You don't give two shits about anything.
We're just saying that the people in the NBA or I guess affluent people in general should donate their money because they have too much money and they don't need it. And if you don't donate, you're
pretty straightforward, and can't argue with them.
Nope, can't argue with them, and it's 100% true.
I mean, some of these guys have so much money that they just buy like 4 houses. Like, do you need 4 houses? Is that really necessary?
You need one, and it's in Florida. Like go to your state. You're in your tax-free state. Buy your mansion and claim residency there, and just call it a day, right? And then rent everywhere else.
I agree.
Whatever, Greg Popovich.
Who cares?
I didn't put this on there. Somebody put it on there, but
I did, and I put it on there because who cares? But I was Draymond Green had I was watching the Thanksgiving Christmas Day game between the Warriors and the Cavs, and the next day I read the NBA's 2-minute error report that they're like, hey, we missed 3 fouls against KD and 1 against LeBron, like late our bad. And I was just like, read this and I'm like, who cares? What difference does that make? And Draymond Green said the same thing. He called them today pointless. And I, in the weirdest way ever, I agree with him. We agree. We think it's pointless for different reasons. Because Draymond believes that who cares if there's a foul in the last 2 minutes? What if you missed a foul in the first quarter? That has just as much effect on the game as the one in the last 2 minutes or whatever. I just see these reports as stupid. Like, I don't understand why you would issue a report anyway and just be like, yeah, we missed a call there. All right, so what? It doesn't change anything. So unless it's going to change something, then issue them. If not, they're absolutely pointless. I don't know if you guys saw them, but I thought that was.
No, I mean, I've seen the reports. I think it's hysterical. Like, think about your job. Right, the things that you do all day long. So, like, let's just equate that to an NBA official. Like the things that you do all day long in your job. And let's take like, I don't know, whatever the percentage is. How long is an NBA game?
48 minutes.
48 minutes. So they release a report about 2 minutes of the game. So what's the percentage of that? Somebody do a calculator. Like imagine, and neither one of you reach for a calculator. The work.
Sorry, something.
Imagine you had to do a report on
it's 4%.
on 4% of your day. Be like, listen, the TPS reports that I put out at the end of the day, they were really subpar, and I just want to own that today, and hopefully I'll do better tomorrow. Like, no other line of work would you do that.
Yeah, what about the other 7.5 hours you worked?
Right. Like, I wouldn't go out there and be like, listen, I was done with my lesson and there were like 2 minutes left, and so I kind of let the kids pack up and we shot the breeze for a little while. Like, I'm sorry that I did that. Like, that would never, in no other job would that ever come up, ever. So why are we looking at a report from an NBA official about it?
I agree.
Stupid.
Thank you.
Nonsense.
Stupid details.
But why did they start it? Like who was calling for it?
I don't know. I wish I did more research.
Yampo's checking in. I don't know if he's talking to me or you or both of us, but he said your beard is stupid.
Can't be me.
No, it's definitely not you. It's
Probably
not you. Thanks, Yampo.
Who cares?
He's jealous we have hair.
He is jealous. Well, Brett doesn't have hair either.
I do not. Just on my face.
Are you?
Where else, Brett?
Are you shaving the beard so you can get on an airplane without being like patted down?
No. Although that's a good one.
They look at your passport. They're like, yeah,
The anonymous pat down.
They're like, yeah, Brett Matisak. That's probably your name.
It's very Muslim. I had to play Santa.
This guy's an ISIS.
And when I sent the picture of myself in the Santa suit to my wife, she was like, "Oh, you look like a Middle Eastern Santa Claus."
They don't have those there. They're not welcome. They don't say Merry Christmas there either. All right, so let's do this. It's the last show of 2017, so I thought we would do a couple of things. Talk about the biggest sports surprises in 2017 to lead off. So I guess, Nick, why don't you take it first, and then we'll go to Brett, and then I'll give my piece.
Big surprise. I would say the New York Giants having their worst season in franchise history, only because they had such high expectations, and they just completely sucked. And this whole drama with Eli has been handled so poorly. And for a franchise that's been known to run very smoothly, I just think that it's been embarrassing, and that's the biggest surprise to me. But second place would be Colin Kaepernick hasn't found his way onto a roster in the NFL. I mean, almost every starting quarterback in the league has suffered some sort of injury, and he hasn't even been thought of to replace anyone. I just think that's very surprising.
Played in the Super Bowl.
Right. I mean, that's, I don't know.
I think your first one is interesting because it's not only that the Giants had a bad year that's surprising. It's the complete systematic breakdown of a franchise.
Right. That's really what I meant.
That's to me, I think, and you hit on it, but I think that I agree. That is very. I mean, I picked them to win the friggin' Super Bowl, so clearly I didn't see it coming. But I just think, that for years they held themselves up to a certain standard, and it all fell apart, and it's very surprising. Your second one was what? Kaepernick
not finding his way into a team because, I mean, all the injuries that the quarterbacks have had. I mean, the Packers lost Aaron Rodgers, and they went with Brent Hundley, who, every game you watched with him, they game planned to make him throw like 2 yards and, run the ball the whole game. And how could Colin Kaepernick not have been an upgrade over someone like that? I just don't understand it.
Some team called some quarterback this week. I wish I had more to that story than some team called some quarterback. But I heard it yesterday to back up this week or something. And I heard it yesterday. I was like, man, we're still not going with Kaepernick, huh? All the way to the end of the year, because the name of the person that it was just utterly ridiculous.
But I'm saying a team like the Packers who were in the playoff hunt, or a team like Houston who when Deshaun Watson got hurt was still in the playoff hunt. It was early in the year. How do you not call someone like that?
Yeah, but you're scared owners and you're scared GMs will give you just the company line. It's too late in the season. He couldn't learn the playbook.
Right.
That time, they'll give you those stupid answers.
Garoppolo went across the entire continent, sat out what was it, 1 week?
It's like 1 or 2 weeks, yeah, and then just jumped right in,
come in and hasn't lost
and owned the offense.
It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. But so I mean, I think it's clear after this year he's never going to play another down in the NFL, right?
someone's got to stand up into the whole kind of blackball that he's been getting. So someone has to put their foot down and in the right situation make the move. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
If they haven't already, why will they? You know, like to your point, every year this stuff happens. Like quarterbacks go down and they're looking for somebody to jump in. Like he was just
Here comes Blaine Gabbert or someone like I mean, come on.
I mean, he could have played in Denver. He could have played in Houston. To your point, he could have played in a million places.
Arizona, Green Bay. Yeah,
I mean and Green Bay would have been perfect for him because he would have come out and he would have played 4 or 5 weeks, kept them afloat, and then Rodgers would have come back. They would have lost again. They would have put Rodgers on IR. Everybody would have lost their mind, and it would have been fine. I mean, I
think Arizona would have been a good fit for him too.
A lot of places. I just don't get it. I mean, maybe he's just gearing up to make his XFL run. I don't know. Your biggest surprise in 2017, Brett?
Yeah, just like Nick, I didn't follow the rules, so I got 2.
Good.
I had one of my surprises occurred very early in the year, and one of my surprises occurred very late in the year. And then the middle of 2017 was just a barren wasteland.
Right.
No,
of course.
I obviously picked Atlanta blowing a 25-point Super Bowl lead.
Big one.
As my big 2017 sports surprise. Just, if you're watching that game, even though, you can always say in your mind, in your head, don't count Tom Brady out or the Patriots will find a way to win this. At a 28-3 lead, pretty much everyone had been like, well, that's the way this Super Bowl is going to go. They're just going to blow them out. So that was interesting. And then my second surprise was Giancarlo Stanton joining the Yankees this year. I think at the end of the baseball season this year, most Yankee fans probably looked at it and were like, all right, wow, awesome, massively overachieved. Didn't expect to be where we are already. I think we have a lot of young, great talent. This is fantastic. We're going to shed some more money, this coming year. We're going to compete again. We're going to, and then we're going to go after Bryce Harper or Manny Machado next year and really make some noise. And maybe even a pitcher. But all of a sudden, curveball out of left field and, 11 o'clock one Friday night, all of a sudden Stanton's going to the Yankees and you wake up the next morning and it's official and you're like, wow. Didn't see the NL MVP coming over and joining our team. So those are 2 big surprises. That's me. I don't know.
I pulled a little bit of our audience to see what their surprises were at the national level, and the answer that I got rang with your first one, Brett, was that the Falcons blew that big of a lead in the Super Bowl. I mean, your point is spot on. If you were watching that game, as they built that lead, you were like, this is ugly. Like they're not only beating them, they're beating them soundly. And then it was just a switch that was flipped, and it was like, it was there's an adage that's like, if you play the prevent defense, it only prevents you from winning, right? And that's what it looked like that Atlanta went to, like halfway through the third quarter. Like they just were like, come on, let's milk that clock, let's get it to run out, and it just they didn't play a full game. So, but that was definitely the takeaway from our audience, was that was the biggest surprise to them. The biggest surprise to me came in the NBA. I was really genuinely surprised this summer when the news broke that Kyrie Irving was looking to leave Cleveland. Coming off of multiple finals appearances, he's playing with the best player in the world. He's got a title. He hit the biggest shot probably in the history of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he wanted out. And I was genuinely surprised that he wanted out, and then I was even more surprised that they moved him, and that they moved him to Boston. Like, just everything about that deal, and the fact that it was even a possibility, just surprised me. Like, I didn't see any real reason for him to want to leave. And then I didn't see any rationale as to how he would end up on the only team that really stood a shot at beating them. But they did it. They pulled the trigger. And this year, Boston's been very good, and Kyrie's definitely been the alpha male in that locker room and on that floor. But, I said at the time, I thought that Cleveland won that trade. I still think that Cleveland won that trade. The biggest piece of that trade that nobody's discussing right now because it's air, it doesn't amount to anything, is they got that coveted Nets pick that the two of you want to throw up about every time it comes up, but they could turn around and they could replace Kyrie with, a number of young stud point guards that are going to be in this draft. So to me, that was totally surprising. I mean, am I off base? Did either of you understand his rationale and have it make sense to you?
When you look at a team that has something like that, does like but I watched pretty closely, and I know you guys like to make fun of me for it, but I watched Shaq and Kobe break up. But when you look back on it, and it's years later, and you go, why couldn't those two just figure it out? Like, just stay together, and you guys can win. And I feel that way about Kyrie and LeBron. On a sense, it's like, what, you guys should have been able to figure this out, because it almost seems like, there's a big opportunity lost there. But once he made it clear, Jeff, the only thing I don't agree with you is about once he made it clear that he wanted out, I knew he was getting moved. I wasn't shocked that they moved him, because
didn't it surprise you that where they moved him? Because
a little bit.
It wasn't like he had a no trade like Carmelo did, where he could almost dictate where he was going. Like, they could have moved him to freaking Philly. They could have moved him to
Phoenix.
Phoenix, yeah. I mean, they could have moved him anywhere.
Yeah, maybe that is surprising to me where he went. But the suddenness too of it, it was just like
it happened fast.
One day you woke up and he was like, "I want out of Cleveland," and he
like 2 days later he was gone.
And he didn't pull like a Landon Collins and go back on it. Like, he was pretty much like, "Look, this is it, man. I don't, I got reasons. I don't really want to be there anymore, and I need to leave."
He actually kind of went radio silent. Like, he was fortunately, I think, in China or something like that when the news broke. And then like he posted a couple things on Instagram, but nothing, like he didn't really address it. And then before you knew it, he was gone. It was weird.
I don't know. I mean, I think we lose sight of the fact that they're humans and they have egos, and Kyrie's ego maybe was getting too big and he wanted to be the star somewhere. And, I can't say I blame him. I've never been to Cleveland, but people have said it's not a great place to live. Maybe he was tired of that too. I mean, it could be a million things. You never know.
Yeah, I just think look, first of all, Cleveland might be. I haven't been there either. Have you been there, Brett?
Thankfully, no.
Okay, so Cleveland might not be a great place to live, but it didn't stop him from signing a huge extension when he had the opportunity to. That which he knew was going to keep him living in Cleveland. So it's kind of hard to hold. To call that card. But, the other thing is, like, he could have said, "I don't want to be here." And they could have turned around and be like, "All right, enjoy Detroit." They could have moved him to the Pistons. You know what I mean? Like, there's a number of places they enjoy Toronto. You know what I mean? Like, and we'll get,
Don't you always look at it like, I feel like when looking back at Shaq and Kobe, like, people always be like, God, imagine how difficult that must have made. Like, Kobe must have been to play for. If even Shaq was like, "I don't want to do this anymore. Get me out of here." Like, imagine how much it must suck to play with LeBron. If Kyrie's like, "I don't want to do this anymore."
But there's also a lot of veterans that just line up to play with the Cavs every year. Like, they sign like those guys like Sean Marion or Richard Jefferson to those deals.
They're just chasing rings because they know LeBron gives them the best chance.
They're also like accessories. They're like the handbag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, LeBron is the main.
Kyrie's a diamond ring. Like,
yeah. LeBron's the dress and Kyrie is the diamonds. I don't know.
I just think it must suck to play with LeBron. Although, whatever. I got my own issues with Kyrie. He thinks the world's flat. So
he is just old school stupid.
Very intelligent.
It's a Duke education, hard at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, he went to class.
Maybe everything I said is null and void and whatever.
All right, so we got a couple things that were surprises. I don't think in the next 4 days anything's going to happen that's going to trump any of that, pun intended. But we'll
wrong.
how about what you're hoping to see? Anything that you're hoping to see in 2018? So, we got a couple of things listed here. I don't know I didn't put anything on here. So if you have anything specifically, I'll just run through the sport. And if any of you,
I think I did all the sport ones, and Nikki did all the
ones on the bottom.
Okay, well let's take it by sport first, and we'll see. So let's start with baseball. What are you looking for? You're excited for in 2018 in Major League Baseball?
Me,
Brett.
Okay, thanks. I was like, me.
Yes.
I'm excited for the Yankees, and I want a World Series title. I'm excited to watch.
Is anything less a disappointment at this point?
I don't know. I'm never a person that, I wasn't of that Steinbrenner Jeter mentality. Because at the end of the day, I mean, only one team ever gets to win. So it's really hard to consider everything else a failure. But I mean, it really depends. Do they have a 3-0 lead in the World Series and then the bats go quiet for 4 straight games and they lose? Then yeah, it's a disappointment. But there's a million ways a season could end. So I wouldn't call it disappointing if they don't make it. But that's what I'm excited for.
You're looking forward to this team as it's constituted. You like the moves of bring Stanton in. You like re-signing Sabathia.
Yes.
Still have holes at third base.
We can fix them.
Still have holes at second base.
Yeah, but you got Gleyber Torres coming so soon.
In May.
How many games does he have to sit out?
I think it's 14 days. I think.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, I think it's 14 days, which is it's like 12 games or 11 games.
So he absolutely won't break camp as the second baseman, but
it just doesn't make sense for them to let him break it.
Absolutely, by May he'll be the everyday.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
Interesting. What do you think they do with third? You think they bring?
I could fill in for 12 games.
I don't think they're opposed to using Torres. I really don't. I don't know if that's just a bluff by Cashman being like, we'll do it. I swear to God, we'll do it.
You don't think it's strange though that they went out and they got Judge, and I mean they got Stanton and they have Judge and they have these other guys, and then they're gonna piece together second and third. I just feel like that's a little strange.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they signed Todd Frazier with a last minute 1-year deal.
Yeah, Frazier should be back. I agree. Or a player like Frazier.
Well, he hasn't gotten any action that we know of, right, on the market.
Well, I think right now they're playing as the hardball game. His agent's he wants 2 years. He wants a 2-year deal. And then you'll see who bites on that. And then you'll go back to the teams that you want to go play for, and you'll say, well, these guys offer this and these guys offer that, and then they you guys are all agents. You know how it works.
We are. I represent no one, but I'm an agent.
They'll play the game. So I think
Beta Enterprises.
Between Frazier and Torres and Torres, I think they're fine.
Omega Entertainment. We represent no one, but Nikki, anything for you for baseball aside from the Yanks that you're looking for?
I'm really looking forward to the New York coaches really caring about their players. I want to see hugs in the dugout, a lot of ass slaps, and I want to see teddy bears in the locker room.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to, and maybe it's not a 2018 thing, but it is. I'm looking forward to this time next year, the Miami fan base having to eat their words. When they've got a little bit of a farm system put together, and you start to see the plan that Jeter's put together, and they're actually building a franchise rather than just going out and paying one player or whatnot. I'm looking forward to seeing what the conversation is this time next year after the baseball season, to see what position the Marlins are in.
No, it's funny because the Marlins fan base is atrocious, right? They don't go to any of the games, and all of a sudden, they start selling their players off, and everyone's up in arms. Where were you guys when? And that you had games.
That's Jeter's response too, right? He's not gonna come out and say that, but he's thinking to himself, you motherfuckers don't show up, and you're gonna sit here and yell at me because we're $500 million in the hole.
Where were you assholes the last 15 Julys?
Right, and they don't even sniff the playoffs really.
Right. Go buy a freaking hot dog and a jersey, please. Jesus Christ. You stink. College football. Nikki, you got anything that you're excited for in college football? Aside from JP predicting that Rutgers starts the season 6-2 or 7-1?
No, Jeff, Brett, you put a good point in there.
Yeah, I'm excited for a possible expansion of the playoffs. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it
obviously won't happen in 2018 because we're going to see this playoff in 2018. So you mean I
meant the 2018 college football season. Yeah,
the conversation of expanding the playoff, because it won't happen next season either, right? I don't think.
I don't know. I don't know. I doubt it would happen next season, but I would like for this to finally start getting on the docket. Maybe
if we only had a college football expert on this show that could maybe talk about
I would love to talk to somebody like on this show live that knows about college football.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, but they should go. They should definitely go to 8 teams, though. I think that's the number, right? And it's very doable because you talk about, it's too complicated. There's like a month layover between the last game and then the championship games. Like, just put the extra round of playoffs like during the Christmas week or something. Like, it's not a hard fix, in my opinion.
Well, to be fair, the XFL is going to butt up against the first week or so of college football.
Oh,
it's a big deal.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I don't want you to get ahead of yourself here, thinking that college football is going to own.
Right.
That time, because clearly they're not going to. We had a couple people check in as far as what they were hoping for in regards to college football. That was definitely one of them, looking to maybe expand the college football playoff. Nationally, they were hoping for the Pats to not make the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. I can get behind that.
And for the NFL to figure out the replay issues, and locally for the Knicks to make the playoffs, the Jets to get a quarterback, and for Eli to stick it to the Giants, as well as for Rutgers to lose.
Yeah, and I want a unicorn.
That's good. That's good. What else? What else do we have? I think the playoff has to expand, but I've been saying that for since it started. I think it's better than it was, but it's still not right. The National Football League.
Yeah, our listeners hit the nail on the head. Figuring out the replay system. I think
not even just a replay system. It's like, what the fuck is a catch?
Yeah, finally figuring out what the fuck constitutes a catch.
Just make it simple.
Did you see for those of you that are listening, go look at Rich Eisen's Instagram. Yampo
the flow chart.
Yampo sent Brett and I a picture of a flow chart that Eisen had posted on Instagram, and it would
accurate.
It would be funny if it wasn't true, and it's insane. There's a legitimate flow chart to determine what is and what is not a catch in the NFL. That shouldn't be.
And it's pretty extensive. It's pretty extensive.
A million like little branches and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Go check it out.
It's like a goddamn choose your own adventure book. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Can we just stop? Just stop.
Stop it.
So we got to figure that out. The National Basketball Association.
Yeah, I think it would be nice if somebody finally started really threatening the Warriors.
I think Justin can.
Just for the good of the game.
You think Houston's the team, Nick?
I think so. If they keep playing defense like they are, I think they're a good threat.
The problem is they got a coach that just doesn't care about defense at all. So, you get to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a different game.
And it's a totally different game. And I understand that Golden State has changed that because of their ability to shoot three. But I don't know. I don't see it happening. I mean, think about when Matthew Dellavedova came in and just blanketed Steph Curry for like the first 4 games of the NBA Finals that year, and then went to the hospital because he was exhausted. Right? That type of defense just doesn't happen in the regular season, and then suddenly there's 2 or 3 players that just have the ability to do it in the playoffs, and that's what you see. So I don't know. We'll see if they're able to do it. I mean, the West is loaded, right? So it'd be
interesting. Loaded.
I think if anybody's going to challenge the Warriors, it's going to come out of that West. I don't know that either the Cavs or the Celtics are going to be able to. Although we'll see what happens with old Broken Foot over there in Boston. See if he comes back and changes the dynamic of that team. But we'll see. I think that's a good point. This one is teed up for the two of you, and we did have some listeners check in about this that shared your interest here. So for hockey, what are you looking for in 2018?
I'm looking for the Devils to make a playoff run, and I mean run. You know, I'm not saying again this is not Stanley Cup or it's a disappointment. But they in a lot of ways they echo, you know, some components of the Yankees. Young. It's looking like they possibly arrived a season too early. I don't think anybody expected them to be as they are right now. And that's great, you know, and I think they have a team that can make noise in the playoffs. So I think my wish list for 2018 would be to see them playing hockey in May and possibly June.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the Devils and the Yankees have mirrored each other over the last few years in terms of they both had great runs when I was really young, and they won, those championships. But then they were kind of in a lull at the same time where they kept overpaying for veteran players. They got really slow, old, and then they kind of hit like a funk where they were both kind of missing the playoffs and whatnot. But now they're both finding who they are in the right way. You know, they're investing in young talent. They have good draft picks, good young guys come up, and they're both very exciting to watch. So I think that, for the first time in a couple of years, I'm really pumped about this team.
For a while, and Nick, it was basically your entire childhood. I had said, the best run franchise in sports, played in New Jersey, and nobody gave them any credit for it. Lou Lamoriello ran that franchise like freaking clockwork. When a change needed to be made, Lou just made it, and that was it. And it was you're gonna play Devils hockey, and that's what we are, and we're gonna run our franchise a certain way. I have a list of 10 commandments that I'm gonna follow, and that we've established, and we're gonna contend every year, and that's just who we are. And they were definitely the best run franchise in sports for the better part of a decade. Kovalchuk happened, and everything fucking turned upside down. And then before you know it, he's going back to Russia. Lamoriello's leaving. Brodor's wearing a freaking St. Louis Blues jersey for like 3 games. Like it was the whole thing just came off the rails. And it was, to me, it was akin to like probably I guess like when Steinbrenner started to lose his mind and ended up getting suspended by Major League Baseball. Like it was there was a little period in the franchise's history for the Devils where things just didn't feel right. I mean,
right,
you have one guy in charge for so long that does things a certain way, and it's hockey. So to be fair, even though I know you two are big hockey fans, you won't deny it's a secondary sport in this country. It just is.
Sure.
The bottom line is, it appears that they're doing things the right way. It appears they're doing things the way that I just was talking about Jeter's going to probably try to do for the Marlins, right? They're building with youth, and they're handling things in an intelligent way. So if this team can hang on and can play, meaningful games in May and June and make a run, that's awesome. I mean, how could it not be?
One last thing before we wrap up the Devils. I just want to that's a credit what's going on right now to ownership and getting the right guy in there after Lou, and getting Ray Shero a shot here, and sticking with his plan, because it seems to me so far he's made right move after right move for this franchise, and it's strange because Lou is off doing pretty darn well with Toronto.
Right.
So
he wasn't done. You know what I mean?
He wasn't finished, but I think it was time for us to break apart. And the marriage was over. And I wish Lou nothing but the best. But where Devils are now, getting the right guy in at GM was the first right step. And we're now seeing some fruits of that labor. Hopefully the Nets are next.
Yeah, not so much. We were talking earlier last year, I think it was, about a possible trip to Vegas to go see the Vegas Golden Knights play the Devils. I'm thinking the way things are going right now, maybe we hold our breath and wait up to see if Yampo can maybe pull some strings and get us some NHL Finals tickets to go see the Devils play the Golden Knights out in Vegas. What do you think?
The Golden Knights are in first place in their division.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
They have Brett, have you seen their record at home? It's so ridiculous. I have this theory that the away teams are just getting absolutely sloshed the night before when they go, and they're just up gambling all night, and they just can't play that night.
It's definitely a home field advantage, right?
It's got to be, right? I mean, Yempo would get screwed if he had to play out there.
Forget about it.
Good times. All right, we're on to individual stuff, Nikki, that you put in here. You're looking forward to Rutgers
football getting into a bowl game. How about that, JP? Let's get a bowl game. Let's just get 6 wins. I think that'd be a nice step.
Now, by bowl game, you're open to any bowl game. So,
any Quicken Lanes Bowl, the Papa John's Pizza Bowl, the Tax Slayer Bowl, the Toilet Bowl, whatever.
So any of those games that are like playing like at
now
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, there's a game today at like 1:15.
Yeah, you're open to that. I think that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I want Jay Cutler to play another season. He said he wants to come back.
For who? For who? For you?
Anyone. No, not for me, but he said he wants to come back only if he's a starter. He's not going to bother wasting his time if he's a backup, because he's Jay Cutler. He's not going to waste his time.
I mean, he's starter material,
He's great. I mean, he deserves to be a starter. So I hope he goes somewhere like Arizona or I don't know, somewhere where the team loses a quarterback in training camp and the coach convinces himself again that he can turn Jay Cutler into a competent starter and he plays again. So I want that to happen.
So I will drink a Mad Dog 2020 on the air if Jay Cutler is not the XFL MVP next year. No, totally not.
Cutler versus Kaepernick in the XFL championship.
Coached by Tommy Maddox.
And Rex Ryan.
Defensive coordinator.
Oh my God, Rex Ryan. Oh my God, I didn't even.
Rex Ryan's built for the XFL.
And Rob Ryan too.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, they're both.
Rex Ryan.
I would give them the Vegas and Miami franchises.
Oh.
Immediately.
That's an immediate reality TV that would just trump Hard Knocks completely.
Nick, that is the most insightful and smartest thing you've ever said on this show.
I have to second that.
Rex Ryan and Vince McMahon might be marriage that is just destined to happen. Oh, I love it. All right, what else you got?
I want Baker Mayfield to light up NFL defenses after they all question his character and leave him to go to the 3rd or 4th round, and then he just lights someone up.
There's no way Baker Mayfield drops to the 3rd round. You really think he's going to drop to the 3rd round?
It could just be a smokescreen, but there's like reports that teams are like questioning his character.
He's not getting past the Jets.
I think there's about 10 teams that would suck another team's dick to have Baker Mayfield as a quarterback next year. So I can't see him passing.
I don't think he's getting out of the 1st round. I think
exactly.
He's there when the
he
Jets.
deserves it. He deserves it. I also want to see Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge going back to back and hitting monster home runs over the Green Monster while Bill Siemens simultaneously tweets out that they're both on steroids.
Because he will. When he saw the trade, he was like, "Yeah, great idea. Build your team around slugging."
Yeah, he was so salty.
First of all, build your team around slugging. Your entire dynasty began off of 2 dopes that were totally steroided up, Manny and Big Papi, and Big Papi just denies it, and Manny's just fading away. Like, stop, Bill. Just stop.
Francesa on to make his picks.
Okay. We're going on to the ringer with the. Okay.
I can't wait till they offer him a contract.
Who, Francesa?
Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
Well, and that's what I'm really most looking forward to in 2018 is Francesa making his weekly appearance here on our podcast. We
announced last week.
We have not yet worked out the details as to what what the segment is going to be, but he's going to have a segment each week. In here, it's going to be akin to Who Cares. It might have something to do with over under. I'm not entirely sure, but Francesa will absolutely join the Low and Outside.
It's funny because I actually listened to that podcast where Simmons and Francesa were making their picks, and Francesa, I know we always joke about it, but he really is clueless. I mean, he said a couple things.
Oh, that did not happen at all.
Yeah, he was saying that. Seattle quit, so the Cowboys were going to run all over them. It wasn't even going to be close. And he also said that the Raiders would want no part of that Christmas Eve game, and they would just get blown out by the Eagles, and the Eagles barely won. So, I mean, he was so off base with a lot of the stuff he said. It was just, obviously it's Francesa.
Did you ever hear the drop where he was talking about the Raiders quarterback situation, and he couldn't pull McCloy's name, and he called them he calls him McClufferness. He goes, I don't know who's gonna be called. Is it gonna be this guy, McClufferness? No fucking idea, and sold it like he was totally on point, like he totally knew this guy, like there was anybody that's ever played the National Football League with the last name McClufferness. Jackass.
Cluffiness.
Worst. So I don't know. We'll see.
Hang on, bartender. Give me one more of those scotch and Peptos. I got a case of squirts, but I still want to drink.
Last call for alcohol.
All right. Here it is. The last call for the year, gents. The last call for the year. Anything that we have not yet discussed tonight that needs to be addressed. Big Nicky J, take it.
I got nothing.
Okay. Great. Brett?
So yeah, we're closing out the year. So that means we're in we're going to be, next time I talk to you guys, we're going to be in January, and this isn't sports related, but for me, that's Oscar season. So tonight, once we wrap up the show, I'm going to pour myself a glass of Cabernet, and I'm going to watch the first of many of my Oscar movies for this year. So I'm excited.
But you're a member of the Academy, so they send you the Oscars.
Right. I have the screeners. Being a member
of
the Academy, I am a member. So very exciting for me.
Okay. Des Bryant said today that he will not entertain taking a pay cut in 2018. He's scheduled to make $12.5 million.
I mean, how long has this guy been in the league? Like 5 or 6 years?
I don't know, but he's not very good.
Everyone keeps justifying keeping him on the team because he's, quote unquote talented. I mean, the guy's just been a jerk off for his whole career.
I lost my fantasy football championship this week by 4 points, and I know we don't want to talk about fantasy football a lot in here. Nobody cares. Des Bryant put up fucking 4 points this week. Okay? Like, you're number one receiver. Like if I played Robbie Anderson, I would have won.
Did he get shut down by Byron Maxwell?
Fucking kidding me, Des Bryant, you're the worst. Hugh Jackson.
He's coming back.
He says that I guess he said in the beginning of the year that if the Browns went 1-15 again, they would find him swimming in Lake Erie.
What about 0-16?
So at his press conference on Wednesday, I guess today, earlier today, he looked at the assembled media and said, quote, "Who's going to jump in the lake with me?"
If I was a member of the media, I'd do it.
So good for him. Good for him. If I'm him, to be honest with you, what I do is I get a bunch of Browns fans to come with you, and you donate something to charity, and
right, make it a good event.
Donate it to like the Josh Gordon Get Sober Foundation. That'd be fine.
Let's not be ridiculous.
It'll be perfect. So that's going to do it for us for this year. So another year in the books. We appreciate your ears. We appreciate your feedback. If you need to get in touch with us, you can find us on social media at Low and Outside Sport, lowandoutside.com. Those of you that know any of us, you can hit us up on social media. You can find us on Facebook, whatever works. We're here. We're here for you, the listener, our friends.
Snapchat's lit, just in case you're curious.
That should be what we're really looking forward to in 2018 is Brett dominating the Low and Outside Snapchat.
Yeah,
it's dead.
Not happening. Have a great New Year, everybody. Stay safe. And until next time.
Desperandum, dear lady. Across the desert lies the promised land. Goodbye, Mrs. Gloop. Adieu. Auf Wiedersehen. Gesundheit. Farewell.
Much love, Eddie.
Fare thee well to you, my own true love. River Mercy, fare thee well. I am bound for California, a place that I know right well. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return, united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee.
Fuck is Jay Bruce? Fuck is Jay Bruce?